Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the West Coast Trios Wrestling Podcast. I am Tony. Uh, with me, as always, are my tag team partners. To my right, we got Callie Rattlesnake. How we doing, sir?
What up, y'all?
And to my left, our other tag team partner, Mondo. How we doing, sir?
Aha! How to clean up a dead bird in my backyard. That's how I'm doing.
But you threw it out.
I think I got most of its parts out of there. I need to
Oh,
check. Yeah,
whoa.
his guts were like everywhere and like this. Yeah, just disgusting.
Wow. Damn. Okay. Once we're done here, hopefully you can go back out there and pick up the rest of the corpse.
Yep.
Um,
Damn neighborhood cats.
Another great couple of days of wrestling here. We'll go start off with WWE, and then we'll go into AAA, and then we'll talk about AEW real quick afterwards. For the WWE, we had Smackdown Friday night. We had the Queen of the Ring qualifier match. It was Raquel Rodriguez versus JC Jane, Kiana James, and Bailey. And that one, Raquel Rodriguez came out on top. After that, we have Royce Keys versus Tala Tonga. Tala wins that match. And then from there, we had a tag team of Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill and Meechin. And Jade Cargill and Meechin walk away with a win there. After that, we had Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints walked out with a win there. Lash Legend versus Chelsea Green. Kind of a squash match there, but sort of. Lash Legend walks away with the win there. And then in the main event, we had a qualifier match for the King of the Ring this time. It was Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest versus Trick Williams versus Braun Breaker. And at the end of all the dust settled in, Dominic walks out, advancing to the next round. Top three takeaways, guys. At least for me, I have one. Is there anything in particular, Mondo, that you probably had to take away from Friday Night SmackDown?
For this Friday is just the really getting behind Dominic Mysterio here, so that was good to see. I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not high on this guy. I think he's a POS. But like I said, just the character, that's the way he wants you to feel about him. So doing a great job. But like I said, I've seen him in other media, and I think this guy is really funny. He's very entertaining. So he's doing it both ways, not only inside the ring but outside. But let's see where it goes. I think we're gonna see the King of the Ring winner there. It's gonna be Dominic Mysterio. I mean, they're pushing this guy really hard, not only there but in AAA. So he will be like your King AAA or some funny thing that they're gonna come up with.
Miguel, any takeaways from SmackDown there?
I just gotta say, Tiffany, you are a babe. I could not keep my eyes off of Tiffany this week. That's my biggest takeaway. I was strictly in love when she came on the screen, and I put my phone down and just paid attention to the match, and that's all I was paying attention to. But all things aside, I do agree with Mondo said. Mondo made a great point. Um, WWE is really making a push for Dominique Mysterio, not only on the WWE side, but he's also killing it in AAA. The one thing that I would say about Dominique Mysterio though in AAA is that he's not defending his title there as much, and I know that's probably a bit of a problem for that fan base. Not even a bit of a problem; it's a problem just in general, right? It doesn't even matter what fan base it is. It's just a bit of a it's just a problem because we want to see a fighting champion, right? Fighting champion doesn't mean you
Right.
got to come out and defending it every week, but actively. And I think it's been some time since he hasn't really put it on the line, right? Now, I understand that they just wrapped up Noche de los Grandes, the mask versus mask, right? We have
Yep.
Triple Mania coming up, so I'm assuming that's where he's probably gonna defend the belt. But yeah, I agree with Mondo. Great point about Dominic Mysterio, and I'm excited to see where exactly all this goes. Right, where's his storyline go? Where's the WWE gonna push him? Right, because essentially, like we're seeing with some of these other wrestlers, in the WWE universe. They're hybrids of both WWE and now hybrids of AAA, meaning that not only are their characters falling through in Mexico, but their wrestling styles are also working with and meshing well with the wrestlers down there, right? So now with that interesting mix, how is WWE gonna take his story and which promo is gonna get the Dominic Mysterio?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I do agree with that. Seeing him as we talk about fighting champions, like you mentioned, and that'd be cool. That'd be really cool if they can throw in a AAA match within Raw, right? Having somebody from AAA coming up to actually challenge for the AAA title against Dominic Mysterio. That'd be really cool to see. Um, and then at the same time, I agree with Mondo. I think he's going to be pushed to the moon when it comes to King of the Ring. I really think that with him holding the title and elevating the name of AAA along for the ride, because like Mondo said, I think he's gonna win that King of the Ring and kind of come up with something quirky where he's gonna just say, hey, I'm this and that and then more. So that's a really good point, Mondo, and a good analysis there, Callie, about Dominic Mysterio. Another takeaway that at least I got like two or three takeaways from SmackDown. One being the women finally having the women show what they got. The Queen of the Ring qualifier match was really fun to see. I wasn't expecting Raquel Rodriguez to advance. I thought Bailey would probably take that, getting the rub from AAA. Hopefully, the crowd really loves Bailey. Not even we'll get back. We'll talk about Bailey later. But like in this match in particular, people are really rooting for her. And then for Raquel to walk away, it's with the win. It's big for her because she's been a tag team competitor, and to finally walk away with a singles victory, says a lot. And good luck to her in the tournament. But I had fun with that. And we had another, like two or three other matches that involved women on SmackDown, and I like what I saw this week. I like seeing that, and I kept harping on how AEW does a really good job with their women's division, and I'm finally seeing something happen on Friday night. I was like, oh, cool, this is something different. This is something where they can elevate the women's division a little bit more. We saw the tag team champions get jumped in the backstage. So we saw Blake Monroe having a promo too, a vignette, so to speak, and all these women are finally being showcased, and I think that's a good direction for them. That was my takeaway for the women. Hopefully you guys feel the same way too.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
Agreed.
And then the other one was really cool and interesting is Royce Keys. Even though he took the loss this week, we saw him getting jumped and getting saved by R-Truth. He comes out, tries to save him, and then Damian Priest out of nowhere grabs him. It's like, let's get out of here. You don't need to be there. They're gonna beat you up. You don't want it. You don't want none of that smoke. And then afterwards, you see Royce Keys talking to R-Truth. R-Truth is like, hey, I think when one of the funniest, I think, blink and you miss segments was, hey, you're gonna love DP. Everybody loves DP. He's talking referring to Damian Priest, but then he kind of checked himself for a second. He was like, is that even PG? And then so that made me laugh. If you know, you know. Dirty minded. I guess that makes me dirty minded too. But anyway, it just looks like, and then you see him in a later segment with Solo Sikoa, just letting him know, or at least Solo Sikoa telling him, hey, what's it going to be? Are you going to join us or are you not? Because we're going to make it even more difficult for you if you don't make this decision. So it could go either way, where Royce Keys ends up hanging out with them, and then this is like their backup to losing Jacob Fatu to the Bloodline on Raw. But if he doesn't, Royce Keys is going to be his own guy and be on his own. And then we'll have the MFTs going after him. So I thought that was very intriguing for having Royce Keys being pushed into a nice little storyline now. So where is he going to go? Is he going to go to the MFTs? Is he going to chill with R-Truth? So that was my one of my takeaways from SmackDown there. So I don't know if you guys saw those promos that he had with both Solo Sikoa and R-Truth.
Yeah, I did.
Molly didn't see that.
No, I saw it, but I thought I was going to go into it a little bit more. But
no. I mean, I didn't really have much to say about it. I mean, really, the only thing I still have on my mind is Tiffany. She
That's touche. That's good. That's good.
She's a babe, man. Tiffany, you are a babe.
That's what I'm saying.
Tiffany, if you are listening, or anybody in the WWE, remember Miguel is out there for you. Big heart.
No, honestly, tag me, tag Tiffany. When you do a show out here in SoCal, let's go grab dinner. Let's go on a nice walk. You know what I mean? Let's go talk about, I don't know, just whatever.
Whatever comes to mind. But getting back to Royce Keys, hopefully he doesn't get lost in the shuffle in this storyline. I feel like, again, we got to say this again, guys. If they're doing a storyline with the Bloodline, aren't we over this? Even if it's MFT, that's like sub Bloodline standards, We got to go in here on Raw. Now we got to do it here in SmackDown. It's like, who cares? Let it die out.
It's not gonna die out.
It won't. It won't. And it's like, again, we're not storytellers, but this is coming from a fan perspective. Enough is enough. It's like back in the day when and I'm gonna go maybe on a little rant here, but when Triple H was taking over the whole industry in his little run, it was stale, not pushing anybody over. It's just these set guys over here, and then they had nothing to do. Spotlight was always, now it's like on this group of people here or family members, and over here on Raw, and it's just like, when are you gonna let these other guys develop? But
yeah,
let's just see where it goes. Let's see if again, WWE is notorious for feeding its fans crap, and we just sit there and, is it gonna get better? Is it gonna get better? No, it doesn't get better. It gets freaking worse, and then we get frustrated like I did.
Or also too, what I'm afraid with honestly, I'm just gonna call him Powerhouse Hobbs because that's a sick name. What I'm afraid was gonna happen with Powerhouse. I want to be careful saying this because again, we're not the writers, we don't. But from a fan perspective, I hope that they don't keep putting him in a position of losing because he's more than that. Like he's a beast, man. He's a beast. And again, you don't have to be the greatest wrestler, but presentation, physique wise, how he moves, even professionalism in the ring, he has always presented himself well, and he was already at the highest with AEW, right? I'm not saying that WWE is higher. For me, both promos are now as equal, right? The only thing that changes is pay, for me at least, but they're both as equal. So he already reached the pinnacle of being at the highest. My thing is, if you're gonna make this lateral move, always within the best interest of you, right? And I'm sure that they probably fed him, oh yeah, we're probably gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, right? But it's always one thing to say something, and then the actions are a different story, and that's what I'm afraid of. That here we have Powerhouse coming into the verse, prime and ready to go, but we're putting him in losing situations, and then on top of that, like you just mentioned, then on top of that, are we really going to that type of writing style? Are we really going to that thought of, okay, well, let's just add them to the MFT? Like, come on, y'all. Like Mondo said, like, honestly, this is not being pessimistic. This is not being negative. This is just being from a fan point who we've seen these storylines, right? But come on, y'all. Like, this can't be the one thing that you guys thought on paper, and it's like, okay, well, let's try to feed them this direction. It's like, come on.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. I have no rebuttal for that. But I will say that, and I will probably piggyback on what you said. When I was watching the match, I said the same thing to myself about how powerful and how strong Powerhouse is, Royce Keys,
He's
and
beast, man.
I'm the only thing I can think of why they're not giving him this like Superman style push is because Obafemi is actually doing that over there on Raw, and so he's the one that's being billed as such at the moment, just because he's fighting or he's feuding with Brock Lesnar. So I really thought that they should have done the same thing with Royce Keys for SmackDown. You'll have somebody Obafemi on your right, and then you'll have Royce Keys, Powerhouse Hobbs on your other side. Was that my left? Anyway, but just like you said, equal powers, the mega powers. If they ever one thing I was thinking of was further down the line, and that'd be cool if they run into each other at either a Survivor Series or a Royal Rumble, where they're two of the biggest guys, and they just happen to be in the ring, sharing it for a second. But I agree with you, Miguel, on that. So yeah, I think he should have been built a little bit more differently. But yeah, it's what they're doing right now. So whether or not he's going to join, and so they're just limited him for a second, or in other words, they nerfed him for a second. Hopefully he'll get to
Yeah.
that Superman push later on. But overall, SmackDown, I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed it. Lastly, before we move on, Chad Gable just showed up, coming off the big matchup in the Mask versus Mask. Came out to a great ovation. People were cheering for him. And right now, it looks like he's on his kind of like the Transformers movie right now, on his apology tour, and apologizing to Ray Phoenix. And then Ray Phoenix was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm not the only one you offended. You got to go and talk to everybody." So I think he'll probably maybe make amends with Penta, but I'm pretty sure I have a feeling Penta will probably say no for a minute. And other luchadors, and whenever he goes back to AAA, which will be hopefully soon, he'll apologize to them as well. But it was nice to see Chad Gable out there, and then we'll see what storyline he has going forward. But what was your reaction, Miguel, when you saw Chad Gable?
I was excited, man, because I seen the promo and I was super juiced up just to kind of just see what was up, right? But the heartfelt message that he gave, Ray, and then Ray looked at him and said, "Hey, listen, exactly like you said, you don't just owe me an apology, you owe everyone else." Camera just cut back to Gable, and then boom, we're done. I thought it was just beautiful, and not even again, WWE's familiar with who he is, but just a good way to introduce Chad Gable back into the verse, but also a strong statement made by Ray Phoenix, and letting him know, like, yeah, we understand you put in the time and all that, but there's still, crowd control that you need to do here. And so, you said it right now best too. I'm super excited with this one. I'm super excited, man, because WWE truly has now a gold mine with Chad Gable,
Yep.
meaning they could use this guy easily in AAA and bring him back and revive some sort of rivalry between, just say, him and luchadores, which would be a great selling point. Or you give him the Kurt Angle push in WWE, and you give him solid matches that are gonna put him over, make him shine, make him win the crowd. Because I think before he went full time AAA, weren't we kind of hating Chad Gable, if we can remember a bit?
100%.
Yeah.
What do
So
you do?
Hello, Shorty G.
so I think that could be a good direction that they could push him, into maybe making him a baby face.
Yeah.
But again, who knows? It's really tricky because what he just did in AAA, it wasn't just he just went to another promotion. It's like that storyline was just top of the line, and it doesn't happen if you don't have the right characters in place. And the fact that he was able to execute it, that's what I'm really excited about. So yeah, we'll see, man. I'm super excited to see what happens with him.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. But apology tour, okay. Yeah, he was a heel, but I think like you said, Tony, the story ended right there. Mask versus Mask. But the saga continues because now he's apologizing. And I think that's kind of like, did you not see the match? Did you not see his heartfelt farewell from the story? It's like, Ray Phoenix, Penta, are you not watching the other guys over here? You're not watching what just happened? He said his apology right then and there, unless I'm missing something. But here's the thing. Okay, go on your apology tour. Have him win. Have him win. Not only the crowd, but the matches. If he starts losing, and it's like, why the hell did you guys have the mask versus mask to begin with? If he's just gonna come back to the main roster, lose, and oh, I'm sorry, like it sounds pretty weak to me, to be honest.
I don't think he's gonna lose.
Well, let's hope so, because we're not there yet. We got to see a couple of matches, but I'm just saying, if he starts losing, you lose his momentum. Because right now, like you guys said, he has a lot of momentum. Keep that up. But we'll see where it goes. Again, I'm just kind of like, do the right thing and have him win.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he'll probably start having feuds after maybe a week or two, or I think once the this Night of Champions pay-per-view is over, I don't probably see him fight. Jumping in the ring anytime soon. Personally, and like just saying I'm sorry, but there's gonna be to your point, Mando. I think there's gonna be a point where somebody's gonna say no, like I'm not gonna take this apology, and then let's go fight, and you show me what you got, and he's gonna have to prove himself, and I think that'll be the way he's gonna prove himself. Hey, y'all, you think you're better now? You think this is gonna be okay? Because somebody's gonna say no. Eventually, somebody's gonna say no. I'm thinking Penta's gonna probably say no. Maybe somebody that we had Ricky Saints and Carmelo Hayes out there fighting, and they're the same type of build, and they're probably one of them. Maybe Ricky Saints is gonna probably say like, well, not with me. Even though you didn't weren't a Triple A type of member, but just saying hello, you're apologizing. That's weak, and then hopefully they'll have a match, and hopefully we get that winning streak going for Chad Gable. But yeah, no, duly noted, Mother. That's another good point. But that's pretty much it for SmackDown. Again, it was a really good show. I thought I had a lot of fun watching it. And then we'll go on to AAA. Do we have any updates on AAA?
Yeah, we do. So AAA was pretty fun watch this week. I was just talking to your brother a little bit earlier, and we were saying it was kind of tough to come back from a week that they had last week and then top that this week. But none other, we had a great show this week. We had Rey Mysterio come out, give a special announcement about what was coming, what were kind of the plans for AAA and what they were doing. And so he announced that they were doing the whole Central and South America tour. So they're going to be hitting up Argentina, Chile, Paraguay, all sorts of destinations that they haven't been in a long time. And now they're taking the show across all the Spanish borders. So that's super exciting to see. We had the match between the five-way match between Mini Vikingo, Octagon Jr., Joaquim, Cruz del Toro, and Lince Dorado, with Lince Dorado coming out as the winner in that. And that was an exciting match. Right after them, we had the 6-woman tag team match. It was Bailey, Lola, La Catalina versus Las Tóxicas, and the WWE girls came out on top on this one. So it was super exciting. Like I said, it was not as fun as last week, but these were all beefs and matches that had been brewing for a few months now, especially the WWE girls with Las Tóxicas and this is not over yet. So I'm assuming we don't have solid announcements for triple mania yet, but I'm assuming that match has to be going on first night in Vegas. Just as I'm assuming one of the matches in Vegas has to be Dominic Mysterio defending his mega champion. So um the other than that, the other exciting news about AAA is that we're gonna go to Triple Mania day one. So I can't wait for that.
We're gonna be there. We'll be there. So exciting.
Hmm?
So excited. As always. That man too. Will be there. And we'll probably shoot some videos and do some
Def- Definitely shoot videos for sure. We'll shoot videos. Um, it's gonna be fun. I know you guys are probably thrilled to be. I'm super thrilled to be going to it and waiting for that. And what's even more thrilling is we're gonna go out with our friend Richard. So we can't wait for the road trip between us four to
Guys
go
picking me up,
watch
right?
day one of Triple Mania.
Yeah,
Like
we'll be picking you up along the way, bro. We'll get you.
knocking on the door, like, what? I'm
Hey,
still in
get
my
out of here. Let's
underwear.
go.
So no, that'll be fun. You guys are right. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Going back to the show there. I was watching it with my wife and my son. We actually enjoyed it. It was a very different. My wife threw out the name. Hey, is a blue. I think I just
Blue Demon?
Blue Demon. There we go. I was gonna call him Blue Dragon. The hell? Blue Demon. I'm like, no, babe. They probably do like a thing with the kids. There's probably a Blue Demon Junior, and of course there is, or like a iteration of the Blue Demon. So I was like, damn, my wife knows more lucha than I do. Holy shit.
You're like, what's going on
Like,
here?
Oh
yeah,
shit.
she
Sorry.
already knows the all
Like, hey,
the songs for like, what is it, Will Ospreay. She's like getting all into it, so I like seeing that. And yeah, we saw AAA, we saw the women's match, and she's like, oh, now I know why you want to watch it. I'm like, that's part of it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
athleticism
athleticism.
and
And
Bailey's there, Lola
and
Vice.
the pageantry, everything. But
They,
yeah,
it's just they get
we had a
into
good,
it, man.
yeah,
But
they
even
do. Going back to Tony's point though, Bailey, huge pop, man. I don't know. Again, I'm gonna go back to this. U.S. fans, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't know if it's the WWE crowd, but Bailey does amazing work, and for her not to be recognized here in the States, that's a goddamn shame. I'm gonna say it right now. She does put in work, and to me, she's over with a few of us, here and there. But man, overseas, she's popping. She's it.
he
And yeah,
here's my thing. Here's my thing with that. Just to add to that, the thing is when in WWE you have so many superstars, and here they're throwing 20-25 minute matches. So they're able to highlight what they're able to do, and that's what she's been able to do all this time in AAA, is not only highlight who she is as a character, but her skills in the ring, right? Because like you said, many people here in the US were kind of already writing her off,
not a
right?
question or statement.
No, I mean, I'm
Oh,
saying like,
Oh, okay. That was
yeah,
a statement. I'm
yeah. I
like,
was like,
oh,
wait, what?
I'm like, oh,
I'm thinking it's a question. You're thinking it's a statement.
my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
our
too.
bad.
My bad.
Our bad.
yeah. So I mean,
Um,
yeah,
I think, yeah, she got one of the biggest pops of the night, or at least during that show, just because of who she is, and like you said, Maggie, the way she is and what she's done for the business, people understand. People realize, man, this is a superstar. And you're right, Mondo. Sometimes the crowd, the WWE universe can be a little fickle. It depends on I think it depends on the city and depends on the crowd too. Because we've seen that not just in WWE, we've seen that in AEW where the crowd,
Yeah, crowds are just
it'll
super hit or
create the
miss.
show for us, right? It'll dictate, right? They're like, man, if they're having a great time, I'm having a great time. Even though I might have a good time, this crowd's like, you said it many times, Monty. You're like, man, this crowd's dead, because you said it. Because we noticed those things, right? Because
Yeah,
we,
as fans, we want to be into it. We want to yell. We want to make sure everything is, how can I put it this way? We just want to know that our presence is making them feel appreciated. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that's the difference with European crowds or even South American crowds. They love it. They appreciate the art form, and it is an art. It's an art form. They are performers, and man, I think that's the biggest difference because we can't agree on the chants. You know, you go to Liverpool, you go to somewhere else in Europe. Liverpool's in Europe, right? I failed geology, guys. But
I think
anyways,
you did.
uh, but they have chants. They have selective things, even like Miguel said, and you can attest to that when he goes to the soccer matches. It's like they have a cheering section, they have a cheering crowd, and I kind of see that here to compare that. LAFC, they have this one thing, and then they have their chants. If you're a new fan and you go to the wall, I guess you can say they tell you, hey, if you want to know our chant, go to the website or go over here and just kind of learn it. So that way you're aware of what to say. I don't think we have that as a wrestling fan base. I think we should. So guys in any city, start making these chants a reality. If there's something like that's clever or something that you think will get behind these wrestlers, I say do it. Let's show the whole world what the United States can produce, not only as fans, but cheering and getting behind your favorite wrestler, your favorite wrestling company, whether it's WWE, AEW, or the Indies. Dude, just, we got to step it up. And I'm going to say it like that. We got to step it up.
We do 100%. But like I think I said it last week, they keep taking chance from Europe. So I'm
That's the
pretty like
American
we
thing
got
to do.
we got one more week of I say we like WWE has another week out there overseas, and then the following week hopefully they'll be back in the States. But then I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna hear something that was based off of what they heard overseas in this past show.
The past trip right there that they're doing
This,
their little tour. But yeah, remember it
correct.
was
Thank
like,
you.
hey, we want some Bailey, and then like you said, that transitioned over here in the States.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, America, what are we doing?
Kudos to the women in that matchup at AAA. I did have a good time watching that too. I think the cameramen had a good time watching, pinpointing on what to shoot. But Las Toxicas, I'm like they had a good run right there. Unfortunately, they ended up on the losing end of the match, and I think Lola did herself a service there while shaking her hips, but she was running back and forth, doing her thing. The Catalina, I think this was the first time I actually saw her fight, and I was very happy with what I saw. The hype is there, the hype is real, and she's only honing her craft, and she'll get better with each match. And good luck to her. The rest of the women there at AAA, but it was a really good match. The guys match, the other
Five-way?
match that occurred, the 5-way. If you guys didn't hear, or at least saw that, Pentagon was it Octagon?
Octagon.
Octagon Junior got hurt. There was a serious injury that occurred during that match, and fortunately, we didn't see it in the broadcast, and WWE kind of edit that out, and it seemed pretty seamless, and
Yeah.
it still turned out to be a really good match regardless of what happened. And then again, speedy recovery to Octagon, because this is, even though it's predetermined, people are gonna say this is fake. People get hurt. People do get hurt performing, and sometimes I know we take somebody like a Darby Allin for granted because he's out there busting his ass and he's literally almost semi killing himself, a la Mondo's biggest enemy, Mick Foley.
Yeah, I don't take
And
them for granted. F them.
but there's these guys doing great maneuvers out there. El Hijo de Vikingos is like doing flips here and there, and they gotta
That
be
guy made me laugh.
they perform to an extreme extent for our pleasure. And Miguel, I know you see that in AAA, how they do their thing, and like I said about Darby Allin and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure you don't take that for granted either.
No, yeah, I don't. So wish Octagon Junior speedy recovery. I don't know what happened exactly. Obviously, like you said, cameras were really good at doing their job, but just wishing nothing but the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were talking about this earlier, and it's just like I was telling Miguel, I'm like, you see him kind of rolling out of the ring, and then just the way they position the cameras, I was like, it fooled me because they said that they had to cut a very good chunk of that time um, for I guess for our viewing pleasure, because we as fans, we may not know what's going on, but when we find out the truth of the in-ring action and the outcome and the result, is all we can do is wish them a speedy recovery. And yes, going back to that old WWF slogan, don't try this at home, but if you do, again, train yourself, get proper training, seek it out, see it with the here in well, I'm not based in LA anymore, but I'm gonna throw a name out there. Brian Kendrick, he used to have like free sessions every Thursday at 11 a.m. I'm just throwing it out there. Not sure if he still does it, but you know, feel free to get more information if you want to be out there. Remember, there's New Japan Tokyo, New Japan Long Beach,
The
and
dojo.
the dojo. There we go. When I said Tokyo, I was like thinking of the Tokyo Dome. That's only if you make it, guys. But train professionals. And again, if you want to train, you know, be very very cautious on what you do. These people are trained. Uh, it may not go as planned, but yeah, speedy recovery. We wish them well.
So overall, another nice and exciting hour of action with AAA, and then just like Miguel said, we're going to be a part of the action live September 11th at the Luxor, watching Triple Mania, and can't wait. We've already we got we said we got our tickets. We're gonna get out there, and hopefully we'll walk away with merchandise.
Belt
like
or a
yes,
mask.
our masks and t-shirts, and yeah, it's going to be one of those wild nights that we won't forget. And so Triple Mania, here we come.
Yeah, for real.
Moving on to AEW Collision. We had a couple of good matches occur. We had the Divine Dominion going over TJ to retain their titles. Really good, solid match there. We had Shane Taylor versus Alan Angels, who I think looks like a lighter version of Ricochet, but that's just me. He looks like Ricochet, dude.
Mhm.
It's just funny
Yeah.
to me. Oh, that's
He's
Ricochet.
a high flyer too, so it's you can make the comparison. It's fine.
Death Riders ended up beating Shane Taylor Promotions in that match, which was fun too. We had Tommaso Ciampa versus Beef, one of the local jobbers around there. So he wasted no time in sending a message to Chris Jericho as well. We had Clark Connor from the Dogs versus Juice Robinson. Very
Rock
happy that
hard.
Rock.
Juice.
I'm not gonna call him that.
Oh, okay.
Juice did not win, which is really good. LFI, I'm sorry, versus the Conglomeration. The Conglomeration walked out on came out with the victory. Damn it, with the trios title still on around their waist, and then Persephone versus Hazuki in the Owen Hart Classic tournament. That was pretty much the card for Collision there. Pretty solid overall matches there. Mondo, what were your biggest takeaways there?
The women's match, the main event. These two ladies put on a hell of a show. I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I was kind of shocked that Hazuki actually got the victory over Persephone. CMLL Women's Champion. You're thinking like, oh, okay, let's kind of build her up, but no, it's surprising but refreshing at the same time because she was playing into the whole. Was it the left eye or the right eye? I think it's the left eye, where Julia Hart spit that black mist. Or was it Leo Rush's Black Mist? But anyways, it was Julia Hart's Black Mist into the eye. So she played a little bit into that, and then even the aftermath, which was pretty interesting. Hazuki leaves the ring after a show of respect, which was amazing. The whole crowd got into it, which was a beautiful thing to see. And then as she's walking away, Tony's favorite female wrestler gets on the scene and attacks Persephone from behind and puts her in the I know her from NXT and WWE days, the bank statement. I forget, I don't know what they call it in AEW, but she put her in the a bank statement there for a very long time, and I'm like thinking, you just shook hands with your rival, your friend Hazuki. Where the hell are you? You know? And then she
It
finally
took her a
makes.
minute.
Yeah, it took her a minute. It was just like, did she just forget what to do? But she came out. You know, Mercedes Moné got the proper heat. I think that was a good weight. Takes her off, but then you see Mercedes exiting, then turns around, attacks Suzuki, which is going to be her opponent for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, and then they break them apart with security and everything else. But then Hazuki does a suicida to the outside, which really pumped up the crowd, and it pumped me up. I was like, all right, let's have these two lady fight, and it's a really good ending to the show there itself. So I'm really, actually, they did a good job, because now I'm hyped for the women's match. And like I said, my family and I, we were watching like a bunch of wrestling last night, and we are, all of us, even my son, we're kind of looking forward to this women's match. So kudos to them. They did a great job. And then also, Tony, just to remind you, my conglomeration winners, we are still the trios champs. So no one ever put me in that situation. And I still don't know how to spell RESPECT. There we go. I got it right.
Took you about a week, but okay. Actually, no, a couple of days. What do I say?
Couple of days.
Oh, wow. I can't tell time then.
Crap.
Go. Any takeaways from Collision this week?
I didn't have any particular key takeaways, but I did enjoy the match between the Death Riders and Shane Taylor's Promotions. I thought it was a fun match. It was a great match. Mox was having a little fun during the match. Overall, it was a great show. AEW, like always, I don't really ever have anything bad to say. Yeah, sometimes bookings can be a little bit, squirreled or whatever, but other than that, I just thought it was a great show. So yeah, just looking forward to I think we have like a quiet few weeks of wrestling, in terms of there's not really too many big shows or happenings going on, which is great, because it's a perfect time for all these promotions to, I guess, just kind of reset and do that summer push, and kind of give us everything that we got July and August. So just looking forward to some of the storylines that we've been going through and discussing and talking about. So really looking forward to it.
Which it's funny, because AEW actually is calling their Dynamite show a Summer Showdown, and they got some pretty good matches coming up for this Wednesday. But that's going to be later on. We'll talk about that once we see that. Some of the takeaways, and I'm bringing my takeaway from WWE into AEW. Again, the women, Amanda, like you said it earlier a second ago, the women. I can't say enough of like what women's wrestling and the evolution of where women's wrestling has evolved into. We saw the beginning of Collision with the Divine Dominion and TJ. Again,
also an impressive match.
Exactly. And I was gonna say, I know you shot your shot with Tiffany Stratton, but that's WWE. I know Miguel's gonna be shooting his shot over here in AEW with Megan Bain. But
Anna Jay,
but they just continue to dominate the Divine Dominion, and very impressed with what they're doing week in and week out. And TJ put on a hell of a show, try there, and I'm like, hey, they came out short this time. And then what else can you say about what happened in the main event? The women started the show, women ended the show there at AEW, which was really, really cool to see. And then a mixture of all these other matches. Other cool takeaways that you call them Powerhouse Hobbs. I like to call him Cesaro. He just was during the Death Rise. Oh, you forgot? Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs?
No. It's just saying, like, you call Royce Keys Powerhouse Hobbs, right? You know,
Mhm.
because he was in AEW, and then
It just sounded
uh,
odd to me, but
oh,
yeah.
okay, sorry, but when Claudio Castelloni, see, was Cesaro. You know, to me, I'm like, oh, is this Cesaro? But
Mhm.
Claudio, very impressed by just again how he presented himself. You know, during the time in WWE, but then he did the same thing too. Like, this guy's really powerful. Uh, I forget which guy he had. He had him in the corner, had him by with two hands on his head. He literally picked him up by the head and put him on the corner, and he grabbed him by the head and he flipped him out into the center of the ring. Like, and then afterwards he grabbed him and he did the spin, the round the world.
Yeah, we can call it the Cesaro swing if you want.
There's a Cesaro swing, and he swung him. Thank you. And you know, again, this guy is so effing powerful. Like, I would like to see him get pushed as well. You know, I know he's in the background of this whole Death Riders movement, but I would love to see him get back up there and go for a title eventually. Um, but my biggest takeaway was how great the Death Riders are looking at the moment. They're really powerful. It's a group that you shouldn't be messing with. And it just proved again. And then, oh, the one small little subtle thing, and I'm like, it just occurred to me, and I was like, oh, Mox loves coming through the crowd via the Shield. How he used to be in the Shield. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of like how he was in the Shield. He's coming out through the crowd. I don't know why it just barely hit me. I mean, and if you guys had it in, you know, if you guys knew about that, you know, I'm sorry I'm late to the party. But I'm like, oh, that's a little subtle nod to like his roots, where he came from, and it's cool. I love watching him coming in from like outside the building and going through the crowd. All I could think about when he was walking through the stands is like, oh, imagine we were there. Imagine we were seeing him walk by. That'd be something cool to see.
And
Yeah.
then, correct me if I'm wrong, but remember when we went to go get a snack or something there, Tony? And then, I want to say it was SummerSlam at the now called Crypto Arena, where we saw, Roman Reigns prepping himself up to make his entrance, and we were like taking photos, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, Hall of Fame material," and I just remember because what you said about, imagine if we were there. But it was funny how Roman was like, "Guys, I haven't done anything yet."
Look at him now, though.
Yeah, but look at him now. He's the original tribal chief. Not taking anything away from Mox, but yeah, when he first debuted in AEW, which was in Double or Nothing a few years back, like maybe 6 years ago, again he did that whole sin, walking through the crowd, and he hasn't changed it since then. So even his time in New Japan, he would come out through the crowd. If correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he did the same thing, and just I think it's just to show respect of where he came from with his friends with the Shield. So that's always a great thing to see there. And yeah, Mox looks like he's having a hell of a time in there. And I do agree. I do want to see Cesaro get a title eventually, whether a world title or just something on him, because dude, this guy, even he freaks out John Cena. I mean, we can't really see John Cena. He's somewhere. He might be in front of me, next to us. I don't know. But he even said, like, this guy, you know, squats more than I do, bench presses more than I do. So he's a real powerhouse deal, though. There, no pun intended, but yeah, he's very powerful indeed.
Cool. Lastly, my other takeaway is Tommaso Ciampa. Like, I did maybe Mother, you can fill me out, fill me in.
About why is he beefing with Jericho?
Yeah.
Okay, so
What did I miss there?
I guess just like he attacked him randomly, and then people wanted to know why. And then he just said something in the terms where he's like a snake. You shouldn't trust them back there. I guess he wants to get into why, but he goes, no, you just have to know, coming from me, he's not the person you think he is back there. The whole backstage politics, whatever it is. He hasn't got into the full details, but he's just really has this pent up frustration, and he's just not going to give us the reason why, but he's just letting us know, hey, don't trust Chris Jericho because look what he did to me in my career, basically. So he's out to get revenge, and he's taking it out on everyone, even Tony Schiavone, trying to make him a mouthpiece. And yeah, but everyone loves Tony, Tony Storm, everybody, so even you, Tony, everybody loves you.
Any other takeaways, Miguel, from this show?
From my point of view, nah. Like I said, I probably said everything that I had to say for AEW. Like I said, nothing bad. It was a great show. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, I think next week we'll see a really good Dynamite. Looking forward to that. I think all the bigger names will probably show up there. But regardless, nothing taken away from what happened on Collision. Collision was really solid, really fun. And I think that's how it is every Saturday night, no matter what. It's a bunch of great talent showcasing what they do. Albeit, some of them are coming from Ring of Honor, and then this is where they belong. They belong in AEW, and this is why
Yep.
they're showing it. And kudos to everybody who put on a hell of a show this past week on Collision. So we're looking forward to a brand new week of wrestling. Um, you know, uh, SmackDown was good. AAA was amazing. AEW, another solid show. And again, it's always a great time to be a wrestling fan. And we mentioned Triple Mania. We talked about GCW. That's our local independent wrestling promotion that travels around the world. Has a home here in LA at the Ukrainian Center. They're going to be here June 27th. Couple of AEW names coming over to LA. We got Mata's frothing at the mouth right now. We got Leo Rush coming through. He's gonna be just as excited as always. Mondo is not. Maybe both Leo. You probably see Mondo running around the ring, just like Leo
I gotta
Rush.
learn how to do that. I gotta practice.
So, and then we got Hook from the Ops coming down to GCW. That's going to be fun. He's going to be going after the main title there for GCW versus Atticus. And I think it's going to be a hardcore type of match. It's going to be fun. Hopefully we maybe on the next show or sometime next week we'll talk even more about GCW. We'll go down the card and maybe just kind of like, hey, this is what we're looking forward to. But we're excited about that. So it's a lot of things happening. We also are going to be going to Monday Night Raw coming down in July. So GCW, WWE, AAA, and then we're just waiting for AEW to come back to LA so that way we can get our tickets. Mondo, I think you haven't missed a show yet.
Nope.
Revolution?
Ontario.
You were there, right?
I was there for Revolution, but I didn't go to the Dynamite because of my freaking job. Can't get the
But
time
regardless,
off. But regardless, most of the pay-per-views been there, Yeah.
But you've been at least all the pay-per-views.
All the pay-per-views.
So, Tony Khan, if you hear it, if you see it, bring him back to LA. Well, we're ready. The West Coast Trios plus Richard is ready to head out there to enjoy some action.
Maybe some backstage passes.
Hopefully. But no, yeah, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. But overall, I mean, it just enjoy it, have fun with it. You guys watch it again. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys leave any comments in the comment section, you guys, we're always again happy to hear you guys out. But if there's anything else, Mondo, you want to add before we probably call it a show?
No, I just wanted to ask, you asked this for the Mount Rushmore. Me, I'm more of a who is your favorite technical wrestler, like mat-based wrestler? If you want, I can start. For me, it's always going to be the excellence of execution. Bret the Hitman Hart, very ground and pound, and very he believed in the realism of making you feel that, hey, every hit, every submission, everything was just felt, and the audience felt that. Him selling it, just kind of whether it be like trying to go for a small package or something, or test of strength. You see it in his eyes, and the way he just again, the key point is just making it feel authentic. And I did, man. Just growing up with the Hart Foundation, his feud with the late great Owen Hart, and just moving forward with the British Bulldog in SummerSlam. I mean, I freaking marked out on that match. I remember that. I was like pounding on the floor, full of excitement. And man, what can you say? You know, he's the excellence of execution. I know MJF has some sort of a beef with him, saying like he was not entertaining or great on the mic. He was to a certain extent, but hey, it was a different era. So he was a baby face. So there's again certain things you can and cannot say, you know, because you don't want to cross the line. But when you get into the Attitude Era and he became more of a heel, then yeah, you can see him kind of crossing the line, but he still held back. And it was the respect he had for the business and who he was. You know, he didn't want to go there, make anything way too personal. Again, it was always about the wrestling and the wrestling characters. The personal thing, that's like, he didn't care about that. It was just making it about business for the business. And I truly respect that. And his in-ring performance, I can't say enough. Me and you growing up when we were wrestling on our parents' bed, always doing the backbreakers, you know, testing them out on you and trying to mimic the way he would do that, mimic the way he would, you know, come off on the second rope with the elbow drop, you know, right on your heart, just made it feel so good. And if I actually connected, half the time it was just sloppy. But again, just great memories. And there is, again, you can't really duplicate that, and it's really hard. So it's always great to see a plethora of wrestlers doing their own thing, and they can credit by watching tape, you know, from the past to just improve themselves. And you know what, if you don't know who Bret the Hitman Hart is, if you're, you know, getting into wrestling, you know, there is tapes, there is YouTube. Look him up. You won't be disappointed.
No, you won't. Bret the Hitman Hart was a great wrestler. I'll jump in a little bit. Miguel, do you have any wrestlers that might be in the technical side that you enjoyed growing up?
Probably the two that come in mind for me right off the bat would be just because one of just his distinct style and able to bring in what he grew up on versus what he learned growing up as a wrestler, and that would be Eddie Guerrero, who he was super technical, um, but also Dean Malenko. You know,
Yep.
he was a super technical wrestler, and I really like his style too. If I had to choose between either of them, I'd probably say more Eddie Guerrero, just because of how he was able to like masterfully blend in that lucha style and kind of bring that his own flavor to it, and not only that, but bring the audience into who he was. So Eddie Guerrero for sure for me.
Cool. Mondo, Miguel,
Oh,
that's it.
nice. Gotta.
Bret the Hitman Hart right there. That's from the
That's
the new tops. But yeah, that is Bret Hart right there. That's best there is, best there was, best there will be. Technical wrestler. I'm gonna probably choose somebody else. I was gonna choose Bret Hart too, but on a technical standpoint, there's for me, I think there's probably I'll take a route that you did last week, Mondo. I'll probably go old school and probably semi old school. I'll go old school right now. I think Mr. Perfect was his name says it all. He was perfect. So he had a perfect drop kick, perfect backbreaker. He had the perfect plexus finishing maneuver.
The perfect
But
toss.
then
Remember, he threw a football to himself.
oh, he threw it. Yeah, he did. If you guys haven't seen that vignette, that's one of those one-on-ones that he had, or throwing the basketball behind his back. But that's in terms of wrestling, about pure wrestling. He matched Bret the Hitman Hart style, and you know they had an incredible match in SummerSlam. Was in 91?
91. I want to say
91.
91.
Because I was it 91 because he lost it to Texas Tornado in 90, and then I mean I probably flip flop in between both. But anyway, Mr. Perfect, regardless, Mr. Perfect was in both, and he was one of the best intercontinental champions of all time. And that match with Bret the Hitman Hart was an instant classic wrestling match. I know they had their own rematch, so to speak, during the King of the Ring '94. I want to say that's the one where Bret Hart ended up winning the tournament. But Kurt Hennig was just an amazing athlete, and very, 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 very well package, and Mr. Perfect. You can't say anything else. But I will say Kurt Angle is probably my other Matt wrestler, the Olympic champion. I mean, Mr. Kurt Angle is
The three eyes.
the three eyes: intensity, integrity, and intelligence. You can't beat that. And I really enjoyed Kurt Angle. There's other people that kind of knew him as Perk Angle, going into TNA and going really crazy out there. Things happen to the body, and like we said, these are performers. Some of them worked 300 days out of the year, twice on Sunday, and this is some of the drawbacks of being a wrestler. And in reality, they go through a lot of punishment. So, and when we say, hey, don't try this at home, don't try it at home, guys, but please enjoy with what you're seeing. These men and women put their lives on the line, regardless of what's happening out there. These are dangerous moves, but they make it because they're true trained professionals, and they make it seem so seamlessly. Yeah, keep saying something else. Whoa.
All right, DP. All right, DP. I think our truth got to you there.
But the mat wrestling, it's really cool. Something of a lost art sometimes, because we're so used to now the people want to see, like us. We want to see lucha style. We want to see the fast pace. But it's cool to see ground and pound from time to time, and mat based wrestling here and there. And I think AEW does that from time to time very well. So, but yeah, that's a really good question, Manda.
I want to put Zack Sabre Jr. up there as well.
Zack Sabre Jr. Yep, really, really good. Just like Dean Malenko, he has a different type of holds and cracking your fingers and
doing things to your neck with his feet. It's just, man, like his whole body's a weapon,
Yeah, and I said it before when we were out there about the PWG, the best smelling guy, because everybody smelled like ass when they walked by.
Yeah.
This man came out smelling like, oh man, this guy smells clean. but yeah, but hey man, that was just being real. This guy smelled really, really nice. So I'm like, oh, okay.
We're like, hey, change of pace. Not everybody smells like freaking undershirt and jockstrap.
So, whoa. But yeah, that's a good call out. I like that. Zack Sabre Jr. Really, 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 really good. Good call out right there. But if you guys out there, if you guys have your favorite wrestler, mat based, please let us know in the comments. We would love to hear your opinions. We would like to hear from you guys as well. Let us know. Please like and follow on our YouTube, the video that you're watching right now. And then don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well, the West Coast Trios Wrestling Podcast. Hit like and follow for both. If there's anything else, guys, before we wrap it up.
Glad I don't smell like ass.
Yeah, happy wrestling week, and we'll see what we get into this week.
All right, we got a new week coming up. Say goodbye to this past week's shows. It was fun. We're looking forward to the new week with Raw and Dynamite, and then we'll see you guys soon. If not, we'll see you guys the following week. In the meantime, wrestling is always fun. Enjoy it, and keep on watching, guys. For the West Coast Trios Wrestling Podcast, this is Tony, Homeboy Miguel, tag team partner Homeboy Mondo, saying, see you next time, guys.
See ya.